Hi. Save Luna 2021 here. Let me preface this by saying that I unexpectedly received over 200 plus responses with each one having multiple opinions. I'd say I got a total of 400 plus opinions from you guys, and obviously I can't respond to all of that. Though I did read all of your submissions, but for this video I only chose 20 out of the 400 I got. About 80% of the opinions I received were either too vague or too identical. So I only picked ones that were unique and interesting to talk about. To compensate with the lost opinions, you may comment the opinion you had or a new one, and I'll react to it on the spot. I'll try to respond as soon as possible. But remember that it wouldn't be confidential anymore and it will be open to the public for anyone to see and respond to. Good luck to y'all down there. But before that, let's enjoy this video. Welcome to my first ever reacting to my subscribers' opinions video. About 2 weeks ago I asked y'all to send me your own opinions for me to react to. This video might be a lengthy one, so without further ado, let's read the first opinion. First we have your local African gal with quite a long one. To be honest, I see a lot of people say K-pop is mentally draining, and in my opinion, I feel like fans, especially those ones, say that because they focus on drama and scandals so much it gets tiring. It's so tiring up to the point they make it seem like being a K-pop fan is a full-time job. Like, no. Just focus on your artist's music and faves, it shouldn't be that hard. I think she meant stans who say K-pop is mentally draining are the ones who focus on the scandals and drama too much. Which I fully agree. I think K-pop as an entertainment medium is very fun and enjoyable. But if you get in too deep, it's more exhausting than it is exciting. If you're currently on that phase, I suggest to take a break and lay back for a while, or just drop K-pop as a whole. I know some friends who've dropped it and they said their lives have never been better. But if you're like me with the mental stability of a god, I think you'll be alright. She actually sent about 10 opinions, so for her effort I'll add another one from hers. People can't stop bringing up other people's faves when theirs get called out for CA or racism. It's so annoying, but Namjoon, but Lisa, but Stray Kids. Plus, in my opinion, not apologizing but changing your behavior is better than apologizing and repeating the same behavior again and again. It's proving that the apology the artist made meant nothing. Some stans can't stop bringing up other idols' scandals when their own idols get into one. It's annoying. Which makes you think, do they really care about the problem at all? Not to mention most K-pop stans herd mentality. Whenever an idol scandal breaks out, they'll follow whatever the majority says without even doing their own research. Which I think is the most toxic trait of most K-pop stans. Next one up we have Yunho's roommate official saying, "I don't know how unpopular this is anymore, but Tai Bing is the example of pretty privilege. She never gets the timing right when dancing. Her voice isn't stable, yet she's one of the highest ranked contestants. It's frustrating seeing so many amazing dancers, rappers and vocalists being eliminated while she's average at best and gets to stay in the top 9 Chinese trainees." Now, I don't watch or even care about Girls Planet at all. But I'd like y'all to fill me up on this one. I mentioned this opinion because it ties in directly to the next one from Can These Nuts. They say that a lot of people said that they won't watch more survival shows, but here we are again. Everyone still believes the bullshit Mnet does with Girls Planet. K-pop stans never learn. I may have not watched Girls Planet, but I did watch Produce and Idol School, so I still agree with this very much. The only reason why Mnet is still pumping out these shows is because they know K-pop stans will eat anything up. I've seen K-pop stans who kept saying to burn Mnet and absolutely despises them for rigging the shows. Then I see them a few months later tuning in Girls Planet every week. I'm almost convinced most people in the industry are delusional. They will never stop only because you guys give them money. Next we have Big Chunky Chungus III saying K-pop fans have double standards, lol, like a lot. Some examples are sexualization of male idols is more normalized than of female. And when a male dancer is dancing poorly, he's tired, but when it's a female she's lazy and spoiled. As bad and as annoying it is, I'm not even surprised. Double standards exists everywhere. You can't even disagree with this opinion. It's literally a fact and I don't think I have to elaborate anymore. If you still don't see it, then you may be the problem. For the next one we have Bom Kia's Ho. I swear to God, it's so annoying to see people talking about the friendships between idols in a group. Like we don't know shit about them, and to assume that they don't like each other / secretly hate each other because of the short clips we see online is so fucking stupid. Like, I'm trying to imagine how my friendships would look if they were broadcasted, and there'd probably be a bunch of people who'd think I secretly hate my best friends or some shit. Like, just please come off your high horse and acknowledge that you don't know your idols. It's disrespectful as fuck. And yeah, I don't know my faves either, and there's a chance they might not actually like each other, but how the fuck would I know? The point is, stop assuming shit. I'll assume Bom Kia's Ho is talking about relationships within a K-pop group. In which I kinda agree. I bet only some members of these groups are actually friends. And you don't know, maybe they even dislike or hate each other. I don't think it's annoying to talk about though. Sure, some fans make them out to be greater friends than they actually are, but I don't see any problem with that. Since friendship is a positive thing and there's nothing wrong with assuming people are friends. I think most of us assume people walking together outside are friends when they might have just met on that day. My point is I don't think it's harming anyone and that's alright. But assuming they hate or are in love with each other gets me. Hate and love are such strong feelings that you can't just tell from a phone screen. An idol could literally breathe on the direction of another and people will go batshit crazy, assuming that they finish each other's sentences. I do get your point too. Stop assuming anything about these idols. They could literally be the spawn of Satan and we'd never know. For number 6 we have, and I quote, not a boy group anti. They say that boy groups comebacks are getting boring. Not all of them obviously, but the majority of the popular BG comebacks nowadays are starting to look and sound the same to me. Just straight up some black leather pants, EDM chorus, and a hard choreo. Am I describing an 80s comeback? Or the boys? Or Stray Kids? Try to guess bestie quirky emoji. I guess I half agree. I wouldn't necessarily call them boring, but rather unexciting. You almost expect what you're getting and end up disappointed. I listened to a K-pop boy group playlist yesterday, and I'm not even kidding, I thought they were all from one group. Sure, not all of them, but a good 70% was literally the same vibe. Though I don't really mind these groups, they can do whatever they want. But I guess thanks to these groups I can appreciate ones who try to one-up themselves every comeback while still refreshing their style every time. Offbeat Lucas here has a few opinions to say. Some stans force other fans to like the song the artist released. Remember, you're allowed to dislike songs made by your alt. I don't understand how this even is a discussion. Of course you may dislike a certain song from your alt. I haven't encountered a stan forcing another one to like a specific song, but if there is, I guess K-pop stans are crazier than I thought. Again, people, disliking or even hating a song by your faves won't make you any less of a fan. Popper won't cry in a corner just because you didn't like a song he barely sang. Trust me. Hype is just like other entertainments. IDKY they have stans like literal company stans. I promise you defending them won't do anything. Again, another fact. These companies don't care about you. Not a single corporation gives a shit about your feelings as long as they make money off of you. Next is Anoko's secret saying. I've come to realize that K-pop listeners don't care about the lyrics of songs, which really saddens me, because I prioritize lyrics the most in any song I listen to. And keep in mind I don't mean English lyrics, I mean what the Korean lyrics inherently mean. Like all the lyrics seem to be recycled and reused, and they seem to be in the song for the sole purpose of there being lyrics. And I know there are people like me out there who do care about the lyrics and are tired of hearing I'm so lonely without you. It was a dark night. Have a lot of fun. I'm not a good girl, I'm different from the other girls, I don't need love blah 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 1,000 times. Not gonna lie, as a person who likes poetry, the only groups whose lyrics have come close to anything meaningful and not repetitive is BTS or Mamamoo, and even this is by digging deep into their discographies. I won't even pretend that I know every lyric to every K-pop song ever, but I do know some of these songs are actual gems with their lyrics. But I can't really blame fans for not even caring about the lyrics at all. At least 80% of K-pop songs do not care about lyrics. They know that most of their listeners can't understand Korean. Plus K-pop is literally built around catchy melodies rather than a deep meaning that resonates with the soul. K-pop is all about fun and I don't mind it. But I do hope more people appreciate the messages in some of these K-pop songs. It might save your life. Their next opinion says, K-pop idols are not artists, and this is a given. The Korean crowds also acknowledge and agree with the fact that K-pop idols are not singers and they are not artists, they are solely idols. They do not write their lyrics and they do not produce or arrange their own music, and you can tell that Ziz produces that song for the group or LMN wrote the lyrics for that song. You all do realize that they get major help and support to do these things right, and they do it temporarily too. The only K-pop artists I know of to date who consistently contributes to their groups lyric-wise is Moonbile of Mamamoo. And yes, I still don't consider her an artist. Idols and artists are different, get your facts straight. I'll have to disagree with this one. I think being an idol alone is being an artist already. Not as musical artist, but as a performer. I'm talking about singing, rapping, dancing, modeling, entertainment, fan service, and sometimes even writing lyrics, producing, composing, the ability to adapt to most concepts, and probably even more. They may not be the best at all individually, but I have to respect all of them for getting into this exhausting and demanding industry. So I do think K-pop idols are artists in their own rights. Next, Mr. Steel Yo Girl has a few things to say about BTS. BTS's English music is very bad. I believe, if their English music goes on, BTS would be an absolute flop. Maybe just 10 million deadass armies keep streaming. They're totally not fun. Trash lyrics and really weird songs. Lyrics equals immature. Beat equals WTF, just no maturity equals 0. I miss their Korean songs TBH. My deadass is gonna be attacked lol. Well, you certainly aren't stealing any girls now. I'd say I agree, but the way you explained is absolutely not it. I think BTS knew what they were doing, releasing lighter, more fun songs, and I don't mind it at all. Especially during the pandemic where everyone was depressed or sad, they released songs that could brighten up their spirit, which I think did work. It wasn't supposed to be a deep emotional roller coaster like their old songs. It was meant to be exciting and joyful. And if you do miss their Korean songs, then just listen to Be on repeat. It's literally right there. I personally do miss their Korean songs too, but it's literally still available. No one is taking it from you. BTS has already proven their artistry. They don't need to show off anymore. Their next opinion didn't really make much sense either. Stop blaming weird lyrics in Blackpink songs. You can't write good ones instead. You're just angry their songs are topping like that. I think this person meant that we only mention how bad the lyrics are just because they are bigger than a lot of other groups. Okay, Mr. No Girls. We're not angry about the fact that their songs are charting. We're just trying to prove a point that it doesn't matter how good or bad a song is, as long as a group has a huge following, it will most likely chart no matter what. Which shows how K-pop is all about popularity and money. Because look at Yo Mama's opinion saying, "Go One Sun Yo has one of the best discographies in the K-pop industry." Which I agree. You can't blame us for being angry when groups or songs like these can barely get a music show win, but when big groups release a literal trash can, it charts on Billboard. Call me triggered or whatever, but whenever I see an underrated group barely getting any traction, it makes me so sad. We only really want these groups to get what they deserve, so seeing other groups doing the bare minimum and still topping charts, it just makes my heart ache. Which is exactly what Just a Potato says here. I feel like BTS and Blackpink are the top groups just because of their fame and not their music. Let me elaborate. Regardless of what these popular groups will do, it will always be at the top with high numbers. I am not saying that BTS and Blackpink don't deserve the success they got, because they do. I am saying that their fame has got to the point where they will always be up there even though a song or comeback shouldn't be. Other groups who have a comeback at the same time do not get the awards when their song is actually a bop. Music is subjective. BTS and Blackpink could literally put a recycled version of their songs and the fans will call it Song of the Year worthy when clearly it's not. Again, I agree, but I also can't blame them for charting like that. It's literally how the industry works. Their companies just know how to exploit the shit out of it. They can chart all they can, but I just hope these groups under their league gets even a fraction of their fame. Because they truly deserve much more. And speaking of groups who deserve better, we have Hyunjin's Bread with a Luna opinion. Orbits should stop complaining about the change in Luna's concept. It's not their fault their main producer left the company. And if they did keep their original sound, Orbits would still complain about their music sounding the same. I disagree. For being their fandom, I think they have every right to complain. I think it's better to complain than just eating up everything they release. Though I say their new music isn't even bad, so they really have nothing to complain about. I think it's just the fact that most Orbits, including me, is starting to notice that this isn't the group they fell in love with. I mean, obviously it is, but the obvious change in direction wasn't it. We wanted the experimental, the unique, the confusing side of Luna. But most of that isn't present anymore. I made a whole video about that if you want to check it out, and so far I was right. BBC is nearing bankruptcy because Luna wasn't doing well as much as they should have and could have. Also, I don't think anyone would complain about their old sound. They were the only ones doing it, so it made them special, and I think most Orbits would love that. That one opera singer in Penthouse says that all K-pop idols are ignorant. They're not woke like you think they are, so just stop it. Bold of you to assume that all of them are ignorant. There's probably some out there, but at least have some faith in humanity being nice. Actually, I don't think most people in general are woke. They're just aware, which is like a natural human thing. So I don't really get this opinion at all. I think it just all comes down to most people good, and some not as good. Yes, don't treat idols as angels, but don't treat them as devils too. It's that simple. Just try to have fun here while you're at it. CL is apparently doing K-pop opinions now. She says that, "I find groups like aespa, TXT, etc. impossible to listen to because every time I watch or listen to something of that group, all I can think of is the fact that if they weren't under that company, they probably wouldn't be famous." I don't know if it's just me, but yeah. And I feel like this applies more to rookies under enormous companies because you haven't heard enough of their discography to decide whether you like their music or not, like aespa. Interesting take here, CL. But I understand where you're coming from. I guess you can say it's almost cheating. Like as if they were born into a rich family, and by the age of 5 they are already an aspiring businessman. It's almost like everything was given to them from the very start. It took K-pop stans one song from these groups to confirm if they are good or not. But you can't blame them. These companies have proven that they serve quality and quality only. It's not necessarily a bad thing to think about. Just don't underestimate their hard work and assume they got everything for free. Next we got one of the New York rats saying, "Not every K-pop stan has to give a fuck about scandals. Like I have every right as a stan to ignore them. Of course I'm not trying to justify bad things K-pop groups have done. I'm black and some of my favorite groups have done some stuff that's really made me upset, but I don't have to be on Twitter 24/7 making sure my fave hasn't been cancelled by a bunch of K-pop stans, you know? I totally agree. Some people are just here for the music and fun and there's nothing wrong with that. Those stans are the real winners here. No stress, no worries, just good music and a great time. Just don't get too attached to idols, y'all. I mean you could, but when something ever goes wrong, you better be prepared to accept it. Because in the end of the day, this isn't a job nor a lifestyle. It's a fucking music genre. Period. Minna's asset has come through my YouTube channel and decided to give an opinion. I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion or not, but in the whole Soojin situation, many people said that Soojin shouldn't have defended herself and should have just apologized. But like, why the fuck will she apologize when she's not at fault? Skull emoji. I mean, of course we don't know clearly all the facts about the situation, but all the evidence seems like it's in Soojin's favor, so just let her defend herself, and even now more people are coming out to defend Soojin. Okay, I also do not know the whole situation about Soojin, so if I say anything incorrectly that's my fault. But, in my own opinion, I do think Soojin can do whatever the fuck she wants. I'm pretty sure it was a bullying scandal that goes way back even before her idol days. So literally speaking, the fans' opinion doesn't really matter. I know her fans just want Soojin to be safe and all, but that's the most you can do. Whatever goes on next should be the last of your worries. If Soojin does get proven innocent, then great. Even if she had left her group, at least we know she isn't a bad person. But if she ever gets proven guilty, then I hope her fans were ready to accept that. What I'm trying to tell is, we should never dig in too deeply into idols' personal lives. We are merely fans and nothing more. So unless if you're ready to accept anything that might happen, what goes on with their own lives shouldn't be your problem. Cheese Gromit has something to say. K-pop fans are starting to become bratty from the amount of content groups release. Some even go as far to say that groups not having a comeback in 5 months is mistreatment and call it a hiatus. It's ridiculous. Groups, especially newly debuted groups like T1419, Lightsome and Weekly, are completely overworked. Comebacks should have at least 3 or 4 months in between. I can understand fans wanting to make sure the group doesn't get forgotten, but I'd rather wait half a year for new content than have member leave or go on hiatus because they can't handle the stress of constant work. This looks like two opinions in one, so let's dissect it. First, Cheese Gromit says that fans are too spoiled nowadays. I agree. I'm a Wiz1, and back when IZ*ONE was still a group we used to get content almost every day of the month. There wasn't a week where we didn't get anything new. But for the times that they didn't release anything, half of the fandom would go furious saying X member doesn't have a video this week. You forgot to upload this video you were supposed to upload. Where's IZ*ONE? OTR, how dare you not update us? And that would go on until we do get something new. Sometimes I think fans forget idols have a literal life outside of K-popping. I love IZ*ONE and miss them every day, but come on. I'm pretty sure not seeing Sakura for an hour would be alright. Cheese Gromit then proceeds to say that because of fans' greediness, companies pump out more content than they should, which leads the idols to being overworked. You can't deny it. I mean, look at Twice. Say what you want, but they're obviously overworked. I'm not saying it's the company's fault. It could have been their own decision to do so. But it's just sad to see, honestly. They probably think that even a few month break could make them be forgotten. That's the cruel side of this industry that is always on demand 24/7 365 days a year. Fans, companies, and idols should take their health more seriously, because health should always be above everything. Next off we got Blink disappointed by YGS as saying, I feel like a lot of the audience of K-tubers or just K-pop in general needs to learn how to form an opinion of their own. Like half of them won't change their mindset even if all facts and data is provided, and the other half would jump on the bandwagon and blindly agree with the YouTuber or commenters without giving any thought. Like some of y'all still have a long time before you are mature enough to even be on the internet, and it clearly shows. I think it's safe to say that most K-pop stans are probably under the age of 18. Which says a lot. When I got into K-pop at the age of 14, I didn't even know half of the alphabet. I would always see scandals and rumors flying around, and as a teenager going through puberty, I just followed whatever the majority said. I didn't have to formulate my own view because 1, I was too young to even understand, and 2, I thought everything on the internet was right. Now being much older, I can finally stand on my own opinion without relying on others to do so. So yes, it's about the age and maturity. But I guess as content creators, we should just try to encourage the audience to form their own views. This is why I always say on my opinion videos that if they disagree, let me know. Because I know you bitches got a mind of your own and it's about time to properly use it. But I don't really worry for K-pop stans much since literally all of us are so opinionated. Most are just blinded, but still very opinionated. For 19, we have Grumpy saying, people should stop with the dark side of K-pop videos, like it makes it look like K-pop idols are treated like trash, which isn't true. Sports do the same and I don't see anyone talking about it. I think it's just because K-pop is so romanticized by almost everyone, that people who aren't into K-pop might think that everything is all good here, when in reality it isn't. Though I'm almost certain that companies are getting better at treating their idols as humans, unlike back then when they were treated as robots. Not saying it's all heavenly, but it's surely better now. Every industry has its dark side, we just don't see it. Hence the name, Dark Side. We can still enjoy it while being aware. It's better that way. Next we have Water Bottle with a few words about Girls Planet again. I am not trying to hate on Bahiyi, but personally though she has good vocals she isn't an all-rounder like Dua, and personally I think Dua was robbed. Bahiyi still has a long way to go and she isn't that great with expressions, which is fine, but I do think to gain popularity on Girls Planet without expressions you will not be able to get people voting for you, and Dua did get a lot of attention that way. I am not trying to hate on Bahiyi, but I think she can improve a lot and that Dua was robbed. Sorry if this offends anyone. As I mentioned, I don't watch Girls Planet, so I don't have a proper reaction to this opinion at all. But I do have something I want to say about Bahiyi. I honestly feel really bad for her. On one note, she has a huge fanbase supporting her, and on the other, I wouldn't say haters, but they're obviously against her for the sole reason that she's the sister of a popular K-pop boy and she might win because of that connection. I feel like whether she wins or not, it will probably still make her feel some type of guilt. If she wins, she might think she only won because of her relation with her brother and might think she didn't deserve it, not to mention the backlash. But then if she doesn't make it, she'll feel bad for letting her supporters down, all while seeing comments saying she didn't deserve to win anyways. Again, I don't watch Girls Planet, so hopefully this wouldn't be the case. For this final opinion, I'll just share what I've learned after reading 400 of these opinions. I noticed that K-pop corporations and K-pop stans are a perfect match. And I don't mean that in a good way at all. Companies know what gets them money, they know what drives stans crazy, and they know how to trick us. While most K-pop stans are literally blinded by it, literally eating up everything they give to us. We're literally playing into their hands, and I think that's concerning. I don't know, just a scary thought. Though as long as Winter is alive and well, I don't really mind. But that would be it for my first and probably last reacting to my subscribers' opinions. This video took too long and I was too exhausted by the end of it. 400 opinions is a lot, y'all. I'm going to need therapy. Anyways, for the last time, I'm really sorry if I didn't get to pick your response. There were simply too much of them. I already had a hard time with these 20 and I also didn't want to make the video too long. So like I said in the beginning, feel free to comment yours down below. I'll try to respond to each one of you unless there's already one similar to it. Thank you so much for 1,200 plus of you. See you all on my next video. Bye.